What is going on, everybody? This is Overcast episode number 21. That's right. This is Overcast, an Overwatch podcast for everyone. I am Frosty. I'm flying solo today. My regular co-host Chris had a family emergency that took him away from the show, but the show must go on because we always have news now, right? Maybe. We'll get to that in a second. But thank you again for showing up live if you're here for the live show. If you're not, remember you can listen to the audio version of this on iTunes and Podbean right now. And the video of it, of course, is you can get the video on demand on Twitch, and you can also go to our channel on YouTube, which is Frozen Fox Video, and find the replays of it there. Hope everybody is doing fantastic today. I am super excited to be here. It's a good weekend, except for the fact that finals are among my list of things that I've been up to lately. Remember to follow us on Twitter, though, at Overcast Show, where you can get all the latest information about the show and some upcoming things we'll be doing with the show very soon as we continue on towards the trek to episode 25, which I think will be a very exciting one. So be sure to follow us there. On theovercastshow.blogspot.com, you can catch our show notes every week. Anything we highlight in the show, videos, if we have a special guest, anything from them will be highlighted on there, so be sure to check that out. And this is all under frozenfoxradio.com. Go there to check out this and all of our other shows that we offer on the network. So, with that said, I told you why Chris isn't here. What have I been up to? Well, I've been trying to get some more beta games under my belt. Just kind of rolling through that, having some fun. It seems like as I've been playing lately, a lot more people have been using the voice chat, so I'm super happy about that. And it makes me excited because I like seeing people use the feature because Blizz did such a great job implementing it. So that makes me happy. That's part of what I've been doing. The other thing, like I said, finals for me are well and truly underway. So, yeah, law school is quite insane. But I'll make it. I had an evidence and a bankruptcy law final this last week and got through both of those. I think I survived. I think I did enough to pass, and that was the important thing. So we'll see what happens this week. I got 3 more, and then I'm done. Once this week is over, I'm officially halfway through law school, and yeah, I guess I could still say I'm on the downhill slope, so I'll keep saying that. With that out of the way, I guess I'll just dive right into this week's topics because, really, but there's only one huge topic. There's not really any balancing or anything like that went out. And I wanted Chris here when we go over some of the other stuff. We're gonna go over some things like I think we said on the show in the past, where we're gonna talk about different categories, different types, classes, I should say. And I think we're gonna start with tanks next time he's here. So we want to be able to go through all those. The biggest thing, though, that's happening is that the Overwatch beta will be temporarily ending. So it's not completely over. And before this, I thought, I hadn't read anything to the contrary, that they expected the beta to end this month anyway. But I never heard that it was going to be temporarily ending. I just thought that was it. That was going to be the end of it. But apparently it's temporarily ending. So we could say that Overwatch is going on a holiday break. How about that? So December 10th will be the last day. Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. That will be the shutdown time. And this is what they had to say. They said, since the start of the Overwatch beta in late October, aspiring heroes from around the world had battled it out in more than 900,000 matches. So just shy of 1,000. Probably would get there before, when this was written, we'll probably get there before, I'm sure, the beta ends, at least this segment. It says, in this same period of time, we have also gathered valuable information about our servers, core systems like matchmaking, and overall map and hero balance, thanks not only to the raw data we've collected from the game, but also the numerous bug reports, suggestions, critiques, and experiences you've shared. So, it's a sad thing, right? Oh, the beta's ending for a while, we won't get to play. So, what does that mean for us? Well, before I kind of get into my speculation, let's see what they had to say. I'll continue on to the statement that they released. They said, this phase of development has been key, but now it's time to analyze the data we have, dig into your feedback even further, and put the knowledge to use as best we can. To accomplish this, they'll be bringing the beta offline, yada yada. During this downtime, we are looking forward to making more improvements to the game. as well as continuing to work on in-development features such as spectating and progression. As mentioned, the break is only temporary, and it's supposed to be back mid to late January, and they'll share more details as that time gets closer. So there we go. We know kind of when it's going to be happening. We know when it's going offline. We kind of know when it's going to be coming back. So we could say it's going to be taking about a month off. It's kind of sad because we won't get to play it, but at the same time, I think it's going to be good for the game and good for even the beta overall. It's going to be good for all of us. It's going to clear the air, get it out of our system. We got a lot of games to get out of our system for the next just under a week now. We'll get that all out of our system. Let them go back and take everything back to the drawing board. I mean, just think of how much data they have. They had 900,000 games when they wrote this of data, first of all, to go through. Not only that, but all the things that they see, for example, on social media. They also have things like, of course, bug reports and feedback that they see not only on the forums, but on Reddit, because we know that they're very actively reading things like the Reddit sub-community. So we know they're out there listening, and it's very exciting to know that they're going to be making big leaps and bound improvements to the game. I think that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to go out on a limb and speculate they're going to see some really big things when we come back a month later. What are those things going to be? Well, I don't know. Let's see. The obvious one is the fact that there's going to be balancing changes. So we know that they're going to say, okay, let's tweak this character or this character. With that much data to go over, they can sit down and probably deep dive every hero just from the ground up and say, is this working? Do we need to change this? Is this maybe a problem that we didn't think about? Are we seeing an anomaly here with one hero or another? Yeah. However that process works. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that meeting and those meetings that happen, but alas, I am here and I am the one speculating about it. So we know we're going to talk about balancing. We know this is going to be a thing. I'm hoping that when we get everything come out, the patch notes for hero changes will be that long, and I'm excited to see because I want to see where their thinking is going to take them in the next few weeks, in the next month or so. Because we know that behind the scenes, of course, they have a philosophy of these heroes and probably where they already want to go if they have some time to kind of step back themselves and analyze what they already have without having to deal with taking in more and keeping the game up and everything like that. This will give them a better chance, I think, to evaluate it. And the forums are not going to go down until the week after, which I guess is the 18th. So you have at least a week after to kind of have like a cooling off period, right? You can have a cooling off period, post all your stuff on the forums, and get your opinion heard out there. So there's that. There's also going to be the reworking of characters that we already kind of know about. How they talked about Bastion and changing some of the core ways that he plays. So are there other characters that are going to be like that? Are they going to be looking at other characters and saying, we need to completely just kind of gut them and start over? Will we see that with characters like Symmetra, who we know that they're already going to be taking at least the nerf bat to? Are they going to take this chance to maybe rework some of her core gameplay? I'm interested to see what they even do with Bastion, because what else are they going to change? I know that they changed his ultimate during, I don't know, pre-release, I guess you could call it, since BlizzCon 2014. So I'm interested to see if they change. I don't know, what would they change? That's what we talked about last week. But I don't really know what they would do. But it's kind of an exciting time because, okay, yes, it's sad because we won't get to play, but it's exciting because there's big things coming. There's changes coming, and we can only hope that means improvements are coming to the game, right? Hopefully. Oh, anyway. So I tried to think of like what other characters do they want to rework. I think, when I think about it, some of the characters fundamentally they're going to have to be one way or the other. Characters like Torbjorn, his whole kit and everything kind of revolves around, and his gameplay revolves around building turrets, keeping them up strategically, and then doing the rest of the stuff he does. Yeah, just for example, I don't see every character getting a rework at all, but there definitely is going to see some that I think are. One of them that they talked about, and I think we said on the last show that they're speculating on was Zarya, and I think that she could be in for a rework. If there was any other candidate that they haven't mentioned, I think, and I don't know, I haven't played her enough to really know for sure. I've played with her on quite a few teams, but she seems to be like the tank that she has a really interesting kit, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people choose her for whatever reason. So I wonder if they'll give her a different ability, swap something out. I like her ultimate a lot, and she can wreck you if she gets you in that. So I'd like to see if maybe they're going to add like a side ability or something, maybe just to make her more favorable pick for people that maybe have shied away from her. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to be doing with that. Like I said, pure speculation. I have no idea. One of the big things that a lot of people really think that's going to happen is that there's going to be map changes. I'm on board with this because yes, there are some places and some maps that I would say need to be looked at. There's some things that people have posted on the forums about I don't really have a problem with. Like for example on Gibraltar, the sun. The sun isn't a big issue for me. It's part of the map. And it's just part of how it works. Not only that, but you can also play you can play with it as a kind of like a real life thing, attacking with the sun at your back. But the other things is I think that they're going to be going out there and saying, okay, this is our chance to really look at the map complaints that have gone out in the last few weeks. And last like not just a few weeks, but probably even longer than that. And like for example, the Temple of Anubis, when you get to the second stage, that choke point has people baffled sometimes. And with different combinations of heroes and different levels of experience, that's a game ender. And it just seems like sometimes the attacking team just cannot get in there. So will we see maybe a different way to get into the Temple of Anubis? Will they maybe widen that choke point a little bit? This is the chance for them to make like a fundamental change to these maps and to say, okay, this part isn't working or this area needs to change. Let's widen this. Let's narrow this. Let's add another choke point here. Maybe they think that it's not enough on some maps. I can't think off the top of my head which ones that would be. But this is the chance for Blizzard to get in there and to really make those fundamental changes and then bring it back to us and say, okay, what do you think now? And then they can pour over another million games. I'll just round it up to 1 million because I think by the time the beta actually closes, that's probably how many games we'll actually have gone through. That's what I would speculate. So we'll see what they do with that. Map changes. And then the other thing is I wonder if this might be the chance for them finally. They said it in the statement that they want to work on it, but is this the chance that we'll finally bring it to the real build for us to experience and play around with it? And that's the progression system. The progression system is something that we've kind of all been waiting for, really, since the beta came out. We saw it before, and we were like, oh, this looks really cool. And then when the beta came out, it wasn't included. So we're kind of like, oh, we want to see how that worked. Knowing what we know now with different skins and tints and things like that possibly being unlockable, I would love to see if they go ahead and implement the progression system. I don't know if maybe what might hold them back maybe will be possibly art assets, say for example like a recolor or reskin. That might be one thing that if they're working heavily on gameplay, making sure that's tweaked the right way, that might be one thing that kind of falls to the side. Maybe they'll introduce a progression system, but it'll be different things, and we'll just have to see. If they have other things, I don't know. We haven't really had it confirmed if they're going to have anything you can get through a microtransaction, such as like another skin. Maybe they'll have more skins, for example. And if they have that, and it's not like an unlockable thing, we might see that. So it's kind of up in the air, but I'd love to see the progression system come in. I'd love to see, especially if they have the rewards in there for the progression system, I'd love to have my hands on that and to kind of feel like, even in the beta, I'm making progress. Because right now I feel like I'm knowing that there is a progression system out there and that's going to be in the final release. That's kind of the only downer I have sometimes when I'm playing the games, because I feel like I'm just playing to play. And that's all I'm doing. Playing to experience, playing to get feedback in my mind and what I can say. So I think it'll drive people to continue to play. I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't know if anybody in chat has an opinion about this, or if you have an opinion, tweet us at it, because I want to know. Do you think, especially if you've been in the beta, do you think that there's been a drop-off in your interest as time has gone on, knowing that the game is going to be coming out for a while, especially with other games coming out, especially around the holidays? Knowing that maybe you're in the beta and you've played for the last couple, few like month or two, and you're like, okay, I've been playing and playing and playing, and now I'm gonna do this instead. I'm gonna play Halo 5. I haven't even played Halo 5 yet. I bought Halo 5 on launch day. It's still wrapped up because I'm playing. The only shooter I've been playing is Overwatch. I'm trying to get everything I can in, and I'm gonna have to play a lot this week. I have finals this week, and so that's the problem. I won't be able to play that much, and then my finals end on Thursday, and while I'm in a final, or the beta ends on Thursday while I'm in a final. It's like, oh no, this is awful. So I hope to stream maybe at least a couple more times, even if it's really late, and hopefully I can have some of you on there and talk to you, or you'll be able to enjoy that at least before the beta ends. And I'd love to play with anybody out there too. So maybe I can pick up get some groups together and we can do that. But anyway, that's a side topic. I'd love to get my hands on that, and I wonder if people have kind of waned. Not that Overwatch is, by any means any less of a game, but just that it's kind of like, okay, we know it's not coming out for a while, and there's other games, and we're getting our attention taken away. I wonder if Blizzard even looks at that. I wonder if they're thinking about that internally, and I don't know. Sometimes with other games, you get a survey that says, "How did you like this? Did this?" I wonder if we get a survey if that would be something they'd include in that. They say, during the beta, if you were in it, was there any other games that came out and you played instead, or did you, how many hours a week did you play such and such game? To me, this could be something interesting that would be a point of data that they might want. So we'll see what they do. I would love to answer a poll on that, or a survey if they have anything like that, because I'd like to see kind of, if the beta's had that staying power, the people in the beta or not. Because I know a lot of us still avidly play it, but there's a lot of people in the beta, and we'll see. So I did want to go over the question and answers that they did have included with the release of the information. They did say what will happen when the closed beta is brought offline. Once the beta is brought offline on December 10th, players will no longer be able to log into the beta client, access our closed beta forums. Access to our closed beta forums will remain available until Friday, December 18th. So that's the last day you'll get your chance to do that. If I can read today. Sorry, it's been a long day already. If I have access to the closed beta now, will I have access when it comes back in January? Yes, all players who have access to the closed beta now will also have access when it comes back online in January. Question in my mind is, will there be another wave of invites? Will they take their chance and say, we can invite some more people into the game, into the beta, or will that come on later date? I had speculated minutes before that this was released, before I got the information that it was released. I was talking to somebody and saying we were talking about possibly another stress test, and until then I thought that it might be going to the end of the month, or at least a little bit later in the month, and that there might be another one. I wasn't sure, and now I'm they didn't announce it, and this would have been the last chance they could really have it. I don't see them doing it in the middle of the week by any means, just knowing what they have to do on the back end for that. So I would expect no more stress tests, of course, to repeat myself, I guess, until next January or later. We'll see when they do it. They said, will any more players be added to closed beta when it's brought offline? Right now, they said no plans to add more players before it's brought offline. So, in the next, 4 or 5 days, don't expect a beta invite. So no new flaggings. Will any more players be added to it after it comes back online? Obviously, yes, they do plan to invite it. It's just when. The exact timing and how many players to be invited will be determined by our testing needs. So it's kind of, we know there's going to be more people in. The question is when and how many. We just don't know that. So then they of course wanted to thank us and make sure that we also were there to follow them on Twitter, and they'll let us know. And I'm sure they'll probably be sending us out emails if you're already in the beta, if you get into the beta when it reopens. Just make sure you're checking your email. Make sure you have your beta profile checked if you want in the beta. That's one of the main things. Make sure you have that beta profile checked. So if you don't do it, you're going to be pretty hard pressed to get in. I think that's really all I had to talk about. I don't have any Ask Overcast things, and nothing in the chat today that is a question about us or the show or the game or anything like that. So I do want to encourage you, remember on Twitter, you can tweet us at Overcast Show. You don't even have to tweet at Overcast Show. You can just tweet with the hashtag AskOvercast, or you can send us an email at askovercast.gmail.com, if you have any questions about Overwatch that you want answered, I would love to dive into those, and I know Chris would too when he's back in the next week or so. And I guess we can do kind of a beta post-mortem next week, so you can look forward to that. And also, we're lining up some guests, some more guests. I know a lot of you enjoyed our last one, our last guest show, and so we're looking forward to doing some more of that, especially as the beta comes to a close. I'd love to get some people on. Now we can finally pull them away from playing, right? We get them on the show. So we can get them on the show and talk to them about what their experience was and what they speculate going forward. So we will talk about that more in the future. I'll announce more about that on Twitter and anywhere else that you can find us. So be sure you're checking out all of that. Be sure you're following us on Twitter at Overcast Show. Be sure you check out the blog page for the show as well, which is theovercastshow.blogspot.com. Make sure you give us a good review on iTunes, and make sure you also listen on Podbean if you're on there. You can also check out our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is kind of a new thing. It's a new growing thing. We're trying to keep up on that. So thank you for all of you who have checked out that page. It'll become vital when we do some giveaways coming up soon, because I've got some already planned. So make sure you're listening. Make sure you're watching out on Twitter and everywhere else, because we got some cool stuff coming up. So cool guests, cool giveaways, and of course cool content, all right here on Overcast. And that's it. Thank you for joining for episode 21 of Overcast. It's been a very great pleasure. Thank you for joining if you're here watching live, and thank you for listening if you're listening to the audio version. But that is all I have to say for this week. So thank you very much. I'm Frostee, and I will catch you on the flip side.